They've never met. Their journeys are different, but they're connected by something powerful, the thread of belonging. This World Refugee Day, we celebrate the communities that make belonging possible and the people who show us what resilience really means.
My name is Frida Umuhoza. I was born in the country of Rwanda, East Africa, and I was one of the 6 children. In 1994, we had a genocide against my people, the Tutsis, where over 1 million people were killed on the course of just 3 months. I was the only survivor of my family, and I was only 14.
I'm Bahaa. I am a refugee from Syria. I left Syria because of the revolution and war that happened after the revolution in Syria. I left with my cat and I went to Turkey for a while. I lived there for 6 years before coming to Australia.
When you lose a family at a very young age and you're raised into other people's families, you as an orphan, I think there's a sense of, I have to work hard for people to love me. When I move to a new country or a new space, I have to find that community. I have to find those people that I can have as a community around myself, to moving from there to how can I be of help, also contributes to this community. I think for me, my contribution has been education.
If you feel safe to be you, then you are in a community. Sometimes that's a very good thing because we find belonging in our communities. I figured out a way to create belonging, and that is by fragmenting it, by making pieces of me belong to pieces of this world. Things like poetry and friendship, and those pieces of me belong there in Syria. And when we talk comedy and we talk, like that belongs here. Now that I'm feeling a little bit more settled in Australia and I'm feeling a little bit more, like I can look at the future, that's when I started thinking, what's the impact that I want on this world? And that brings me back to, refugees. If one of us isn't free, that means that none of us is free.
My story is to remind everybody that we all have a responsibility. When somebody leaves their country to come into another country as a refugee or as an asylum seeker, I don't think you would understand what it takes to leave your home or to be forced out of your home and to start a life from scratch where you know nothing. I think it takes a lot of courage and takes a lot of work and a lot of resilience to rebuild a life. And that's what this whole community should be about, is to work together to build each other, not to tear each other down.
I left Syria as a mechanical engineer, and I found myself now I'm a comedian. It was a checkpoint for political intelligence. If you know anything about the Syrian government, there's no politics and there's no intelligence. It's something that I'm kind of lucky in a sense to have as a refugee, because the refugee journey teaches you that you don't take anything for granted. You didn't leave home. It's actually that you lost home. Losing home means that you have to create home again. A huge part of my refugee identity is how much I'm trying to create home for myself.
Real freedom begins with belonging, in the strength to rebuild, in the courage to connect, in communities that embrace difference, in the thread that ties us together. Join us on the 20th of June for the World Refugee Day Telethon, powered by the ASRC, as we celebrate the strength and diversity of refugee communities.